Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Expert Reviews. Here we have an AMX 50B on Cliff, World of Tanks winner, I believe. The name's too long, it's not showing up, so I shall simply call him Win. What are we working with here? Bond vents, by the looks of it. Bond vents, bond vert stabs, and a bounty improved aiming. This is going to be a very accurate 50B, being as it looks to be field modded. 2,100 base hit points on the 50B, and without improved hardening, we're sitting here at 2,210. No doubt the benefit of those field mods. Now, getting up to the top speed of 65 kilometers per hour here. When you load base is what, 29.16, I believe? So coming to the edge here to see if he can catch out anyone aggressively moving to the corner. And it does look like there is quite a weight from his team in this location. It's actually picking up some spotting damage with the 400 meters per second base, 400 meters base view range. Superconk does connect a shell, but that is a beautiful clip. That's a gorgeous clip. Those are the kind of trades you want to be making in the 50B. And of course, if you see the turret of a 50B as that Superconk did, yes, the world is your oyster. But you got 100 millimeters of frontal turret armor on the 50B, 50 on the side and 50 on the rear. Now, as we're working the gun here, let's talk about gun statistics. What we got stats-wise, 6.4 rounds per minute. Doesn't really tell you much, given that it's an autoloader. 6.4. 257 on the standard ammo, which we won't be seeing any of. Bit of an unlucky or poorly aim shot on the anti there. 325 with premium, which most 50Bs fire full, and our gentleman here is doing that. 325 on the APCR. 65 millimeters of pen on HE, of which he's carrying 2 clips here. 400 average damage and 515 on the HE. Will 325 be able to damage? I'd be nervous about getting lit there by that E100. Does clip out. Interesting. What was I saying? 0.35 accuracy, which is pretty good. Nothing to complain about there. And 2.5 second aim time. Certainly has a more reliable gun, or a more comfortable feeling gun than the T57, which I think would be the most apt comparison if you're looking to compare this auto-loading tanks at tier 10. Now you got 4 shells in the clip, which gives you 1,600 clip potential. And you gotta say, I've never used this position. But can we gotta talk about one of the perks, one of the main things about the 50B, and this I mentioned in my Be Unstoppable video, which I will link up here, where I covered various ways, various methodologies, various things, ways that you can play the game in order to be immortal. Good way to get your damage block missions as well. The 50B featured in that video because of one very odd quirk. That quirk is the hull armor. A lot of people think about the 50B and they're like, oh, it has terrible hull armor. You're not wrong. It's got a 170 on paper at the front, 30 at the side and 30 at the rear. If you see a pixel, and I mean a pixel of the side of a 50B, you can put any shell there and you will just overmatch and pen immediately. That said, the bait that you can do with this tank is incredible because the frontal armor, 170, I kid you not when I say that this upper plate right here is about 330, 340 effective. Somewhere around there. The lower plate is around 300 as well. Like, the frontal armor of the 50B, you need to put this in your head. Do not shoot the frontal hull of the 50B. Alright? Give it the respect it deserves. And the reason I bring this up now is that because I don't use this position, I don't know if this would work, and it looks like it wouldn't because of this lock. But what you can do in a 50B is you can stick your tank, your frontal armor, around the corner. And because of the prevalence of charging all that and failed, because of the prevalence of the idea that, oh, French tanks have no hull armor, people will take shots that are absolutely going to bounce off of the front of a 50B. So I'm very curious to see if that comes into play at any point in this tank. And it's why you shouldn't be surprised if you bounce off the 50B, because it does have an incredible amount of armor. Alright, and I like this. I like this. He's not overly exposing, but he's getting knowledge. Look at the girth. Look at the amount of enemy tanks that are presenting on this flank. You've got a multi-level engagement behind you. You got the RT-121B for some reason. STRV up there, right? If you spot someone trying to make a move, that's a load of spotting damage far aside from your own clip potential that you can put out as well. So keeping the knowledge up is really important here. Even though you are threatened by taking a shell in the turret from that E100, don't know what gun he's using at the moment. I like the fact that he's not going for damage because he knows it's not a favourable situation, but he is still trying to keep knowledge up to prevent this entire mass of enemy tanks from having free and unhindered access to this position, which would heavily compromise the middle of the map here. So he is actually playing a very important role right now. His hit points are incredibly important, especially so because he is the only one in a forward position. And this is something you should always be aware of when you see a map like this. By the way, I'll link my review on multi-level engagements up at the top right and in the description. Watch that video because it's really important knowledge to gain. And you can see he's trying to use his TDs. Really your bounce. Trying to use his TDs to his advantage here. But whenever you see a multi-level engagement set up with only one person in the forward position, that multi-level engagement is tenuous, right? You still shouldn't attack that frontal position in a non-linear fashion. For example, if we take our map here, right? This is the forward position. Our fine fellow in the 50B is the forward position. This is the fallback position. Them both together, that's a multi-level engagement, right? And to overview that, what makes this a multi-level engagement? Well, the enemy have to consider engaging this position and this position as separate maneuvers, and yet this position and this position are mutually supportive. That's what makes it a multi-level engagement. Now, I forgot what I was going to say. Now, the reason it is tenuous is because, especially if the 50B is quite fragile, it can die very quickly. Things kind of like a Waffenträger Alpha 100, powerful output, but can be taken out of the battlefield quite quickly. This can die, and if this position dies, it's not just losing one tank, it is losing the entire multi-level engagement. Whereas if you had simply one additional tank up here, it makes that engagement so much more powerful, which is why I love the defensive play that he displayed whilst in this position, not losing any more health than he needed to. And I don't know if that's because he recognised the strength and importance of his position. It may well have been, but it was very, very important because of the established multi-level engagement. If he dies, this position becomes hugely weaker because they now lack the frontal knowledge and frontal position that makes their position strong. So, the way you would normally engage this is you wouldn't charge and take out a 50B conventionally because that charges into a multi-level engagement. Instead, you would attack in a non-linear fashion. You would try and go around this 50B, around here, or around here. Hypothetical, obviously can't do that on this map because that's the edge of the map, but that's the principle, right? Try and use a non-linear approach to disrupt the forward position to weaken the back position. Basic counterplay to multi-level engagements. We'll see how the enemy get on here. Lovely. Doesn't go for the second shell. 2.5 seconds between the shells. because one shell then falls back. Such an important aspect of gameplay in the 50B and in French autoloaders in general, because these are the old meta, right? These are the tanks that don't hold your hand. The 5120, the 5100, and the 50B. These tanks aren't kind to you if you are bad, right? If you don't make your engagements well, if you don't value your hit points and think of them as currency to get a good trade with. If you just think, oh, I've fired one of my shells, now I'm gonna fire the rest of them, even though I'm getting shot at. That's not the principle. That doesn't work with these tanks. Oh, that is gonna be beautiful. Hopefully he doesn't get the snap. Okay, yes! Ah, sexy! Okay. Oh, this is lovely. This is absolutely lovely. Okay, so when a tank is moving, it is less likely to hit you. Natural understanding of that, right? He's put 2 clips out. He can almost kill this guy. It's not going to kill him in the remaining clip. However, the E4 is now stopped because he tracked him. When he tracked him, he's now not poking out for the shot. Because now that E4 is tracked, the E4's chance of hitting him has just gone up massively. However, there's no pressure on him to make that engagement. Why? Because the E4 has to move. The E4's objective was to claim this position, right? If he wants to claim that, he's got to move. While he's moving, the chance of him hitting his shot diminishes. So right now, all you do in the 50B is you aim in front of him and you wait for him to move into your shot. He can't go back because of the engagement that he's got behind him. He has to go forward. He can't stay where he is. Do not give him the shot. Wait for him to move into your shot. And I pray that's what he's going to do, because it looks like he knows exactly what he's doing. So I'm just hoping to see him just wait patiently for the E4 to be pressured into making a disadvantageous engagement. We shall see. Wait. There we go. Oh, it's gorgeous! Ah! Oh! Oh, that sucks. He should go down, quite honestly. There we go. Okay. Call me Akats in the STRV there. Beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous. Okay, so got the 268 at the back from the enemy team. T57 heavy on the high ground. What threat do you present here now? Oh, bit of a poor shot there. What have we got? Shell travel time on the APCR shells, 1,334, I believe. That's not exceptional. You're talking about tier 10 tanks firing APCR. It's by no means in the ballpark. It's something like a Leopard 1, which is almost at like 1,900, I think. Manticore dancing down, not liking the looks of that position. Ooh. Cheeky. Okay. Honestly, at this point, your position's still valuable, right? It's rare. It is rare to get a game in a 50B, especially, where it is tactically the correct play to stay stagnant in one position. It's rare in any tank. It specifically emphasized the 50B because, well, you've got a horsepower per ton ratio of 20.39, I believe, base, engine power 1,200, top speed is 65, 20 in reverse. Like, it is an exceptionally mobile tank, and add to that the ambush favored qualities of having that autoload and that damage output potential, you're likely to be moving about the map in this tank. That said, like, I can't critique this gameplay so far from the point of view, you should have gone here, you should have done that. I personally wouldn't have been here, but that's just a personal choice. It wouldn't have been the right play or the wrong play from the offset. You know, you gotta make a decision off the at the start of the game and live with it, but the game has progressed in such a way that him relocating from this position, in my opinion, would have been a factually incorrect play, which is interesting, because that does not happen often. Now, I'd be a little worried about getting outspotted by that Manticore with a CVS there. That would be my concern at the moment, but again, he's fulfilling this frontal, multi-level engagement position. Should be able to connect. Ooh. Yes, only one. Oh, it's gorgeous investment. It really is. The level that this man values his health. I mean, this is gameplay that reminds me of back in the days of the 5100. Back in the days where autoloaders weren't your Czech heavy tanks, weren't your Banasks and things like that, where such a huge component of autoloader gameplay was about deciding what investment was worth it. Right? How much of your clip could you get out without sacrificing too much? I mean, that's especially prevalent in things like the 5100 with a intra clip of 2.75, 2.73 even. And you got 6 shells to try and put out. The temptation is constantly there to get all of those 6 shells out, even in situations that are fundamentally not appropriate to do that. And if I had to guess, I'd say that this gentleman has a lot of experience of those type of tanks. I imagine he's a veteran of the game. By the way he plays, I would guess he's been playing for quite a while, perhaps playing through that era of the game where it was more slow-paced and tactical. I could be completely off base there, but it's indicated to me by the fact that he's still sat here at 7 minutes left on the game in a very powerful tank, in a very powerful position. I'd be curious to see how this game unfolds, because as soon as that E100 dies, do you have potential? Do you kill him yourself? Doesn't look like 268's got you. Okay. Go for the bar. Oh. Takes it. Wow, okay. Wow. E100 had a HE shell loaded. Puts it into the side of the 5100 and doesn't pen. I can only imagine that went low there, but quite frankly, that should have been a full pen every time. 30mm sidearmor on the 50B. If he went there, I mean, that's just unlucky from the E100's part, but lucky for our good old winner here. Now, the question that arises for me at this point is 268 problems. What I would do is I'd probably reverse. What would I do in this situation? Do I claim this position? I don't like this position because it allows the enemy to get me stuck. Right? If I'm in this position, got a Leo working there, got a 57 working there, there's still arty in play. If I'm stuck behind this position, I'm dead. What I want to do right now is take advantage of my T100 LT coming in. Right? I see that as disruption for this angle. If this angle is not here, I can work on these guys for free. I can take this high ground and try and present flanking positions and issues potentially support my T100. So, in my mind right now, my T100 is my playmaker. I want to see him go in, find this 268, and I want to get into a position to potentially support that, because the order of operations right now is disrupt the back and then take out these guys who are more forward. So let's see how that goes. Keep in 3 shells. Do you pull out? It is risky. It is risky. You've not seen the 268 for a while, so perhaps thinking that he's not there anymore. Okay, LT's found the 261. Wonderful. It's worming his way up there. T57. Not quite getting out of dodge quick enough. Where is the 268? LT's not found him. Keeping 2 shells, half a clip, 800 potential damage. When do you go for the reload at this point? I'd go now, yeah. You go now. Why? Because this is as safe as you're gonna get. T628 below you. If someone appears sort of here, he's gonna know about it before they get on top of you. Someone comes this side of the T100 LT. Right? It became safe once it was clear that you weren't gonna find a Leo here or here jumping on you. It became safer on your load. So nicely timed on your load there, in my estimation. Let's see. Heading here, trying to potentially provide Overwatch. Oh, this is nice. This is very, very nice. It's so flexible. It's so flexible as a position. Like, you cover mid. You also get the spot on the corner if the Jagdpanzer moves on you, with ability to disengage. You can go up there, you can go up there. You're not abandoning high ground, right? You're not sacrificing a position of power. As I said many times, it's easier to go from high ground to low ground than low ground to high ground. This is lovely, lovely positional play. I don't think, looking at this, I don't think you can find a better option here. I mean, potentially doing this over there, but I think even running for mid at this point, you risk the cross spot by something like the Jagdpanzer in this position, right? So I do think this is actually factually the best play. This guy's really good. Okay, T100 LT, once again, playmaker, possessing probably the most health out of anyone. Let's see, 1.5 looks like, so... Let's see. I'd be aiming light here, to be honest, because that T100 LT hasn't found anything immediately. He's unlikely to be jumped on. Yeah, I'd be aiming on that corner. And I think you and me both, Fanzo, would have picked up a lovely leopard kill. Believe it or not, that man didn't spot you. Let's have a quick examination of why that is, because that might be quite educational. Leo comes now, this foliage right here was 15 meters or more, much more in this case, away from this leopard. That meant that this foliage was impeding this leopard's view range. The reason that you spotted him and he didn't spot you was because the 50B had the benefit of this camo and this camo. Whereas the leopard only had the benefit of this camo, right? So that's why the leopard got spotted and the 50B didn't. It's odd that the 50B didn't get spotted even when he fired, but what I would imagine potentially happened is that there was a weird angle to spot over here, where the only camo at play was this, and then this camo was in play when the shot went off. Very odd. I would have expected to be spotted there, but... oh, well, we'll live with it. Unless I just didn't see his sixth sense go off, in which case, I'm a twit. Alright. Don't flip yourself. That would be very embarrassing. Oh, is this going to be a full clip out into the side of a Jagdpanzer? Oh... and he gets one, 2.5 between the shells. He's going to get the second into the lower plate. And we're not sticking around. That's good. Get that, and then do you leave? At this point. No, do you leave or do you hold? You leave. I mean, they're mounting at this point. We've got cap pressure. You take this position again. Alright? This position again. Because not only do you get an angle on the corner, I reckon... look, you're being encroached on by a Jagdpanzer and a Manticore. For my money, the Manticore's going to round the corner well before the Jagdpanzer. Do you get 2 shots for free into the Manticore before the Jagdpanzer even has a shot on you? Right? We've got to assume that 268 is going to go down here. So being here, just again, such a versatile position. And at this point, the way I see it proceeding is potentially what's going to happen is you can take a Jagdpanzer hit. You can take a Manticore hit. You can take a 268 hit. Assuming the Jagdpanzer's not firing HE, that is, which... dangerous. But at this point, you've got to work with cap pressure, right? You can't leave this position, because you can't allow the enemy to have this for free. What the good thing is if you hold this position, someone tries to push on you, you can hold here, T100 LT in the side. Go there. If you don't go there, I'm going to be very disappointed in you. But I cannot see a situation where you don't go back to that position, based on your gameplay so far. Alright. Oh, Manticores relocating hillways. That's interesting. That's interesting. Okay, now maybe you don't go wide. If you were being attacked by both of them, I think you go wide. If you're here... I mean, they've split. Okay. Now it gets interesting. I would say go for the Jagdpanzer, but you don't need to at this point. Why do you not need to? Because of cap pressure. 268 isn't there. Okay, is this necessary? I mean, it's funny. Very good. Okay. Cap pressure. You can get... Oh, I would have stuck in this position and looked for the Jagdpanzer here, to be honest. I wouldn't have been going this way. What I assume is happening right now is he's going for the 268 and kind of thinking, okay, the T62A is essentially fodder, a sacrifice. But, I mean, I would be using the cap circle as... I mean, capping is a tool, as ever, right? You'd never cap for shits and giggles. You cap to achieve an objective, either the win or some form of pressure. In the same way you win a flank to apply active pressure by winning that flank, you get in a cap circle or apply pressure to a cap to try and achieve an outcome based on the game state. And the T62A does go down, and I would have been right to stick in there and get some shots into the side of that Jagdpanzer. Oh, okay, now the game's become a bit more complex. I personally don't like that play. But hell, you had to at least make one misplay in this game. Otherwise, I was going to deem you a literal god of World of Tanks. Okay, Jagdpanzer E100 isolated, T100 LT and 50B. That is clean as you like. Oh, and that is clumsy. That is very clumsy. 65 kilometers an hour top speed. Make every shot count. Let's not have to fire the fourth shell here. 1, 2. Should be simple as you like. Beautiful. Okay. Absolutely gorgeous. Now, the 268 is far enough away that... Are you going to go to that original position again? No. Okay. 268 is far enough away that you shouldn't be that concerned here. Forward on your load. Trying to get some knowledge on this guy coming in. 29.16. 29.16 second on your load. The fact that you haven't taken a hit here implies that he's still in the same position that he was in. Because if he was anywhere else, you'd likely have been perforated by now. Okay, so 2 minutes left. Now, the 50B and the 268, in fact, are certainly fast and capable enough to wrap up this game in the time that they have left. Alrighty. Dangerous angle to relocate, isn't it? Dangerous angle. Can I ping? I can't ping in the replay. But that looks... Ooh, I'm thinking he was there. Like, that seems a dangerous angle to be relocating. But maybe you have a different theory as to where he is than I do. Let's see, what do you do at this point? I mean, you've got to be comforted by the notion that he didn't spot you while crossing here. Right? So you don't have to... Presumably, you don't have to worry about getting spotted here. Although, maybe... No. Okay, that's good. So, at this point, you either... Oh, my word! Okay, that should be GG. 1, 2... No HE shell, please! Oh, my word. Get the ram kill. Get the ram... Oh, you pussy. Oh, my word. Wow. What an absolutely lovely display of 50B gameplay. Frankly, that was an absolute treat to watch. Thank you very much for sending that in. That was an absolute pleasure. Well, I'm looking at the post-battle results. But yeah, that was absolutely fantastic. So many examples of really good, really well-refined, not just autoloader gameplay, but positional play and tactical gameplay in general. The one play I didn't like was the not overwatching base. You seem to use the T-62A capping as a distraction as opposed to a win condition, which, I mean, I think that's just a sort of personal choice in how one plays the game. I think it's very much like the difference between W8 and win rate. For example, I have like 2,500 in W8, but 62% wins. My win rate is very high for the amount of damage that I do. And that difference is just because of the minor differences in the way I will approach a game. And I think that's an example of that. Some people approach it in a more damage-orientated or picking up kills-orientated style, and whereas other people approach it in a more sort of balanced, utilize whatever examples you've had. But that was absolutely gorgeous to watch. So, thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're interested, quick shout out to the fitness website. Been working on it for a year and a half, something like that. It is up and running. So if you are interested in making some positive health changes, then do go over there and have a look. I'm sure I have something for you. You make really awesome changes. Thank you very much, and have a wonderful, wonderful day.
Peabody, cheers from Germany, man. Thought I'd hide a couple silly verses, my friend. He is a nice guy like Ned Flanders, but wielding a band hammer that make viewers feel him like a gang member, yeah. You better never ever shoot versus the man, cause that's a jerk of his hand, hence you're a permanent ban, yep. Like in a roleplay game, you wield a dagger but